Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today I want to just sit down and do a nice soft glam look with you guys using nothing new. These are all things that I've used before. Just want to kind of rotate the products that I've been using in my makeup routine. So these are some things that I have. Some of them I've used more frequently, and then some of them have been sitting in the back of my makeup drawer, and I kind of wanted to just bring them out and play with them and all that fun stuff. So that is what we're going to be doing today. If that is something you're interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I am going to start with eyes first like I normally do. It's just what I prefer. This isn't going to be a crazy eye look, but I just feel better when I do my eyes before I do my face. The palette I'm going to be using is one that I mentioned in another video that I did recently. This is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. I always forget that I own this, and it really is a stunning palette. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's a very neutral, cool toned palette, but that's kind of the look that I want to go for today. So that's what we're going to be doing. I think I want to do like an all matte kind of look. I don't know what it is about it, but I've been like really into like no shimmers, just all mattes. So I think that's what we're going to do today. My eyes are already primed. I used the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and I actually already primed my face too. I used the, what's it called? Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I like to put the face base on way before I do my face makeup, just to let it soak into my skin so that it can absorb all like the good stuff that's in it while I'm doing my eyes. And we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I think I'm gonna start with this Sigma E25 that's like stained blue. I can't like seem to get this blue out, but I think this is what we're gonna start with. I'm gonna take the shade Crease right here, which is just a soft, cool toned brown, and I'm gonna do exactly what it says and put it in my crease. Like I said, I don't really have like any idea of how I want this eye look to come out. I just know that I want to do like a very soft kind of glam look. And because my eyes have a little hood to them, I am focusing this like in the crease, but also like a little bit above, so that when my eyes are open, you can actually see the eye look. The main point, or the main step I should say, of this eye look is just going to be blending. We're going to blend until the cows come home, because that's what's going to give us a very like effortless soft look. And I'm focusing it more on the outer crease, not so much on the inner, because my eyes are pretty close together, and the further in that I bring the shadow, the more closer they're going to appear. So I like to keep it really mostly on like the outer corner, most of the dark shadows I should say, and then I'll focus the light ones on the inner corner, and that's what's going to help kind of elongate my eyes. I am bringing it down on the outer corner a little bit, just whatever is left over on the brush, bringing it like all the way up into my brows, because I don't have a lot of lid space, so I like to take full advantage. I'm using a very light hand just so that the pigment isn't deposited in just like one spot and then unable to be blended out. And as always, I'm being messy with my shadows because I am gonna go in and clean it up when I'm done with the eye look, so I'm not worrying about the mess that I'm making. Okay, I think that's all I want to do for that crease shade. The next one that I'm gonna take is this smoke shade right here. Actually no, I'm gonna take this lash line shade, which is the darkest one in the palette, and I'm going to take it on my Morphe 506, which is my favorite brush ever, and I'm going to focus this out here, keeping my eye opened. And I'm going to blend it in, patting it in, like packing it on, pulling it out, and then I am blending it in. This one I'm really not being careful with, and I'm being quite messy on like the outer corner, because like I said, I am going to be cleaning it up. I'm going to go in with my Sigma E25 again with no extra product, and I'm just going to blend. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take another blending brush like that. This is the Morphe M433, which is identical to the Sigma E25, and what I'm going to do is take that crease shade again, this one right here, the first shade that we used. I'm going to take it on that Morphe brush, pack quite a bit on, and I'm gonna blend. Again, bringing it all the way up to the brow. And I'm doing this to create a gradient, but also to help diffuse that dark shade, that lash line shade. And then I'm just gonna pack some more on of that lash line color. Okay, and then once I'm at this point, I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade that I'm gonna use, which is this transition color right here. It's like a soft, very light taupey color. Again, it's very cool toned, sticking with that like cool toned theme that I have. I'm gonna take it on my Morphe M421 right here, which is just a flat shader brush. And I'm just gonna go from the inner corner out and use this to brighten up the look. I love doing this with the very light color because it really helps to like change the shape of my eye and like really helps to elongate it and make my eyes look very pretty. Gonna go in with that crease shade again just to mesh it into that transition shade that I put down. So I like the way that this looks now. I'm gonna go hop off camera and clean up the edges and add some liner real quick, and then I'm gonna come back and we can keep on chugging along with this tutorial. So I'll see you just a second. All right, we are gonna apply some lashes, but I think I'm gonna wait until all of my makeup is done to do that because it is the hardest part of my makeup routine. I hate applying lashes, but I cannot go without them because for me, lashes are just important and essential. They change the way that all of my makeup looks look. They make them look 10 times better, so I'm just gonna wait to do them. For my skin, I'm going to go in with a skin tint, actually, not a foundation. I know that the eyes are a little bit dramatic, but I still want to try to keep this as soft as I possibly can. So I'm gonna go in with this Fenty Beauty Ease Drops Blurring Skin Tint. This is a great skin tint if you have oily skin. I swear by this one, and I also swear by the Patrick Starr one, but that's at my boyfriend's house. Wish I had it, but it's at his house, so I'm gonna use the Fenty ones, which are just as good, and I'm gonna use a brush with it just because I feel like that's, for me, the best way that it applies and the best way that it looks on my skin. So I'm just gonna go in and squeeze a line on, and I'm gonna blend and press is the motto with this. This offers a great amount of coverage considering that this is just a skin tint and not a true like foundation, you know, like it's great coverage for what you get. I do use quite a bit just because that's who I am. And like I said, my skin is already primed. I used the vitamin enriched face base, and that is just gonna act as my primer here. I'm really pressing this into the skin. I'm not really doing any kind of blending or swiping, I should say, just kind of pushing it into my pores. This skin tint does mark it as like a blurring skin tint. I don't really know if I agree with that. I do have very large pores. I think it doesn't accentuate anything, but it also doesn't blur anything. So I'm not sure if I'd say that that holds true, but it does do a nice job of covering. So now that I have a nice layer of that skin tint on, I'm gonna go in with my other cream products before I set everything. The first one that I'm gonna use is this Say Sun Melt. It's kind of like a cream bronzer. It's in the shade Light Bronze. It's really gorgeous. Very good cream bronzer. I wouldn't really consider it a cream contour, but it is a good cream bronzer. I'm gonna take it on my Luxie 512 and I'm packing it on, like I'm not being shy. And I'm just gonna focus this where I would focus my powder bronzer. And again, I'm really pressing in, not so much like swiping everything. I've been loving this product recently, especially now that it's like summertime, because it's just such a natural, like soft, like bronzy glow that your face gets when you use this product. It's really freaking good. I honestly have never met a product that I didn't love from this brand. It's Say, I want to say S-A-I-E. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's really gorgeous. It's also a very foolproof product. You can like pack on as much as you want and it's not going to look bad. You're never going to use too much because it's so creamy. It's always gonna blend out. See how it just gives me a nice, like it looks like I've been in the sun all day, you know? It gives me a nice bronzy, healthy look. I am looking really oily though, but it's okay. We're gonna powder. I just wanna get my creams out of the way first. I'm then gonna take my favorite concealer ever, which is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. I know you probably can't read it from here, but this is a fantastic concealer. This is in the shade 215. Put this in the center of my face and under my eyes, and I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute because I have been seeing like all over TikTok and YouTube and Instagram that letting your concealer sit for a little bit helps that with coverage and stuff like that. I don't really know the science behind it, but I do know that I've seen people do it and it looks better according to them, so I'm just gonna try it out. I'm gonna use my fingers to blend it out. I don't have a sponge and I'm not gonna use my brush. I find that the best way to blend out that concealer is with my fingers. The heat from your skin really helps to melt it into the foundation that you use. You definitely don't need a lot with this concealer. Like I definitely used way too much. That's just who I am. do it literally all the time. Do you guys see how freaking gorgeous that is? This concealer is unparalleled. All right, so I am gonna go in with one more cream product, and that is the e.l.f. Blush Putty in the shade Bahamas. It's just a really gorgeous cream blush, and I am gonna take it on my finger as well. I'm gonna warm the product up, and then I'm gonna take it back here and pat it in just to give a nice flush. Even though it is summer, I do love using cream products, and like even though I'm an oily mess, I've been loving using cream products because I feel like they just give me a much more like effortless, natural look. I mean, nothing about my look right now screams natural, but you get what I'm saying. I feel like everything just looks better when it's creams and blended into each other, you know? Like my skin looks super healthy right now rather than just like an oily slick, which I usually am. Everything just looks kind of like glowy and healthy. All right, so I am gonna go ahead and set underneath my eyes. I'm gonna use my tried and true one size translucent setting powder with my powder puff that I got from Amazon. This is my favorite duo. I mean, it's my favorite powder ever. I think I can use this with anything and still love it. I love the way that it looks with this powder puff, and I'm really packing this into the skin. I mean, look at that. Look at that! I swear to effing God, this is the best powder I have ever used in my entire life. And then the thing is like, I know I've used this so many times, so I know how great it makes me look, but every time I use it, I'm still in utter shock. Every single time. I'm just gonna bring it down the center of my face as well. I think that I'm gonna take a little bit of this powder on a big fluffy brush and just set the rest of my face, just so that nothing is slipping and sliding around. All right, now that we are set, I'm gonna go on with a few powder products. I'm gonna take this Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade Shady Biz. I love this bronzer, it's so good. I'm gonna take it on my Morphe M530, and I'm just gonna hit everywhere that I put that cream bronzer very, very lightly, like with a very light hand, because I don't want to ruin anything that I've already done. I also am going to go in with a powder blush just to set that Bahamas cream blush by e.l.f. I'm going to take this shade right here that's in this Roxy Makeup Revolution palette, and I'm going to take this little angled fluffy brush, and I'm going to, with the lightest hand ever, follow where I put the cream blush and pat it in. Not swiping and not blending, just patting. All right, powders are done, and I think face is done too. So what I'm gonna do now is move on to a lower lash line. I'm gonna take that Natasha Denona palette again. I'm gonna take this lash line shade, which was the darkest one that we used, and I'm gonna take it on a flat shader brush. I use this one all the time for the lower lash line. It is the Morphe A19, the collab that they did with Ariel, and I'm gonna push this shade right up against the lash line and connect it to the outer edge. Not going all the way in, just going like halfway in. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that Morphe M433 again, and I'm gonna take the crease shade that we used, which is this one right here, and I'm gonna blend out that lower lash line. All right, and then I want to add some mascara too. I'm just going to take this Maybelline Curl Bounce mascara. I don't know, it's just what I have on hand. And I'm gonna apply some. Okay, I actually like the way that made my lower lashes look. And then I wasn't gonna do it, but I think I am. I'm just gonna apply some black liner in my lower waterline. Just looks like 10 times smokier and grungier when I do it. I just have been loving the way that it looks. So I'm gonna go do my brows and my lashes. I think I'm gonna use these Molten Arsonist lashes, and I'm just gonna cut them a little bit more and put them on the outer edge just to give me a nice like lifted eye look rather than using the whole lash, if that makes any sense. I'll just show you what it looks like after, but I'm gonna do that right now, and I'll be back in just a second and we can finish this up with lips. Okay, lashes are applied. I feel like they really help to lift and like elongate my eyes. I basically just put them on like the outer half of my eye, and I feel like my eyes look amazing. Like they look different than they normally do, and they look how I always want them to look. So maybe that's how I'll start like doing my lashes from now on. All right, so we're gonna move on to lips. I'm gonna just do like a very nude lip. I'm gonna start with this Artist Color Pencil from Makeup Forever in the shade Wherever Walnut. This is a really gorgeous lip liner. I use this like all the time. These Artist Color Pencils are what I always reach for. And then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go in with the lipstick, which is the MAC Honey Love lipstick. This is my favorite. I love MAC lipsticks. They've been around forever. They are so creamy. The formula is so amazing. Wear beautifully throughout the night. They're so comfortable. I love them so much. And then I'm also going to use one more lip liner. This is also an Artist Color Pencil by Makeup Forever, and it's in the shade Endless Cacao. And I'm going to use this to kind of contour my lips a little bit, just like that. Just a little bit of a lip flip. And then if you have seen any of my other videos, you know that my final step for my makeup tutorials is always just to bring back my little birthmark right here. So I'm going to take my one size Point Made gel liner pencil and I'm just gonna bring back my birthmark. Okay, you guys, this is the final look. I love the way that it came out. I feel very like effortless and like I just kind of threw on some makeup and went out the door with this look. I definitely need to start applying my lashes like this because it was like 10 times easier and it looks 10 times better than the way that I normally do it. If you have not already, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the little bell so you are always notified when I put out a new video. I hope that you all enjoyed and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.